Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to speak about aging, and not the usual way that you would think about it. Not the fillers, not the Botox, not the anti-aging creams, which there's nothing wrong with that, but the idea that aging is not losing youth, aging is gaining freedom. I know that might sound strange at first, especially in a world that constantly tells us that getting older is something to fear, something to fix, something to hide. But the older I get, the more I realize I was never meant to stay who I was at 20, and neither are you. From the time we're young, we're taught that youth is peak, youth is beauty, youth is excitement, youth is desirability. Youth is when life really happens, and everything after that is decline. But nobody really talks about the cost of youth. Because yes, being young can be fun, but it can also be confusing, insecure, and heavy. When I was younger, I spent so much time trying to be liked, trying to be chosen, trying not to make people uncomfortable, trying to fit into boxes I didn't even design. I was loud when I needed to be quiet, quiet when I needed to speak, overgiving, undervaluing myself. And at the time, I thought that was just a part of being young, but really, it was a part of not yet knowing who I was. Here's a part nobody says out loud. Youth gives you potential, but not clarity. Youth gives you energy, but not wisdom. Youth gives you time, but not discernment. When you're young, you often live from the outside in. How do I look? How am I perceived? Am I doing this right? Am I behind? You mistake intensity for love, chaos for passion, attention for worth. And sometimes you stay in places longer than you should, not because they're good for you, but because you don't yet trust yourself enough to leave. That's not failure, that's learning. One of the greatest gifts of aging is this. You stop performing for approval. At some point, usually after heartbreak, burnout, motherhood, loss, disappointment, or all of the above, something shifts. You start asking different questions. Not, do they like me, but do I even like this? Not, am I being chosen, but am I choosing this? Not, is this impressive, but is this peaceful? Aging gives you the courage to say, I don't want that anymore. That doesn't work for me. I'm allowed to change. I don't owe everyone access. And that is freedom. Yes, our bodies change. I won't sugarcoat that. Things don't sit where they used to. Energy shifts. Recovery looks different. But here's what also happens. You stop measuring your worth by how palatable you are. You start inhabiting your body instead of judging it. You realize your body carried you through heartbreak, held stress you never spoke out loud, created life, kept going when your mind wanted to quit. And instead of constantly trying to shrink it, smooth it, or erase it, you started respecting it. That's not lost, that's maturity. When you're younger, boundaries feel scary. You worry. People will leave. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be seen as difficult. As you age, you realize people leaving isn't always a loss. Sometimes it's a release. You stop explaining yourself to people who benefit from misunderstanding you. You stop negotiating your needs. You stop over-functioning for others. And you understand this truth. Peace is more important than being liked. That alone changes everything. One of the quiet miracles of aging is trust. You trust your intuition. You recognize the red flags faster. You don't need chaos to feel alive. You understand your cycles, your limits, your needs. You know when to rest, when to speak, and when to walk away. And that trust, that only comes from lived experience. You couldn't buy it, you couldn't rush it. You had to live your way into it. People say aging closes doors. I disagree. Aging doesn't close doors, it clarifies which ones matter. You stop saying yes to everything. You stop chasing what looks good on paper. You stop confusing available with meant for you. Your life gets quieter but deeper, smaller but truer. And that's where joy changes shape. So, no, aging is not about losing youth, it's about gaining freedom, self respect, discernment, peace, and choice. It's about finally living from the inside out. And if you're in a season where you feel yourself shedding old versions, old identities, old relationships, you're not failing, you're graduating. Before we close, take a deep breath with me and receive these aging affirmations. I'm allowed to age naturally and without apology. Aging is not something happening to me, it is something I am growing into. Every year adds depth, wisdom, and clarity to who I am. I release the pressure to look younger than my age. My work does not decrease as time passes, it expands. I honor my body for everything it has carried me through. There is beauty in my becoming. I am aging with softness, confidence, and self-trust. I'm allowed to change and still be whole. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And if you're walking through this season too, you're not alone. Thank you for being with me today.